The Milwaukee Bucks just won the NBA championship, but the NBA moves on quickly. The draft and free agency are done and training camps will start in about a month. So it's time to wonder which teams are the favorites to make it out of the Eastern Conference, and which teams will be fighting to just make it to the playoffs. Welcome back to the channel, it's your boy Gavin, and in this video I'm going to be ranking the top 8 teams in the East and make my early prediction on which team will make it out of the East. So hit that subscribe button and let's get right into it. At number 8, I got the Boston Celtics. I know a lot of people have them higher, but I just don't think that the free agents that they got is actually going to make them any better than last season. Because the reason being is that they lost some key players. Plus, they now have a new head coach who has 9 years of experience as an assistant coach, but no experience as a head coach in the NBA. So I'm interested to see how that's going to play out. But the biggest question for the Celtics is how much better can Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown get? Each year, their offense has gotten better, but their defense seems to not be getting better. The numbers actually show that they keep getting worse. They are one of the best duos in the NBA, but as of right now, you need a big three to compete in the NBA. So who's the third best player? Marcus Smart, Josh Richardson, or Dennis Schroeder? Those players are good, but not good enough to make a big three. Let's move on to the next team. At the 7th spot, I got the Atlanta Hawks. They still have the same team that made it to the conference finals, and to me, it was luck that they made it there, because they beat the Knicks and the 76ers. Those two teams were not real contenders. The young core from the Hawks have a lot of potential, but they still need like about 1 or 2 years to be real contenders. I know that Trey was balling during the playoffs, averaging 28 points, but he shot 41% from the field and 31% from 3. If he could shoot the ball better, then I see the team going into new heights faster, but let's see what happens. At the 6th spot, I got the New York Knicks, and yes, the Knicks are officially back. Last season, they were the 4th best defensive team in the NBA, and at one point they were the best defensive team. But before that, they were always at the bottom. During free agency, they did a good job, added some players that will have an impact right away on the team. Because one of their biggest problems was that their offense disappeared during the playoffs. But now that they have added Kemba and Evan, that should change because they can both shoot the ball and can create their own shot. Still, defense was the reason why the Knicks was such a big surprise last season. And I believe they're gonna keep that up and actually get better at it. At number 5, I got the Chicago Bulls. To me, they are the team that won free agency because they signed some really good players, and I feel like their starting 5 can compete with any team in the NBA. I made a whole video saying why they will be the 5th seed in the East. Go and check that out, and let's move on to the next team. But here, it gets a little bit tricky. These 4 teams could make it out of the East, but I got the 76ers as the 4th best team. Because during the playoffs, the Sixers starting lineup was actually really good, outscoring their opponents by 39 points per 100 possessions. But the last 5 minutes of the game, they were horrendous, only scoring 87 points per 100 possessions. And the reason behind that was Ben Simmons. He became a liability for them. He can't be trusted at the free throw line, can't shoot threes or hit a midi. And worst of all, he was giving up open layups. I'm impressed the 76ers haven't traded him yet. There's rumors going around that Simmons wants to leave the 76ers and said that he won't be coming to training camps. That means that there's a possibility that Simmons will be playing at another team at the beginning of the season. But let's see what happens. Next, I got the Miami Heat as the 3rd best team. I know they got swept by the Bucks in the first round, but last season, it was clear that the Heat were not able to get in rhythm due to injuries and COVID health protocols. But this season, I feel like it will be different, because now they got tougher players known for their defense. Last season, the Heat were a good defensive team, but now with those players, they will be a great defensive team. But the biggest question of all is, how will their offense work? Since Jimmy and Bam can't hit their threes, and then there's PJ, who shot 37% from the field last season. But the Heat have two really good sharpshooters in Duncan and Hero. Maybe they'll carry that load and keep their opponents on their toes. Now, the second best team in the East is the Milwaukee Bucks. They were one of two teams to rank at the top 5 on offense and top 10 on defense. The Bucks were also really clutch during the playoffs. Their last 4 games that were within 5 points in the last 5 minutes of the game, they scored 31 points on 20 possessions. But the most impressive thing is that their opponents only scored 9 points on 17 possessions. I do feel that them losing PJ Tucker is going to hurt them a lot, because during the playoffs they were at their best defensively and offensively. When PJ played a power forward and Giannis played a center, they were outscoring their opponents by 14 points per 100 possessions. But I believe Giannis, Chris, and Drew can carry this team and maybe make it to the finals again. But there's one team that has an even better potential to make it to the finals, and that team is the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets ended the regular season with the best offensive rating in all of NBA's history. This team offensive power is off the charts. KD, Harden, and Kyrie are all MVP candidates. And I know the Nets lost against the Bucks in the second round of the playoffs, but that was because Harden and Kyrie were hurt. I know the Nets defense needs some work. They ended the season as one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. But I believe with the addition of Patty Mills, this team is going to be an even bigger problem on the offensive end. So I don't care how bad they will be on defense next season. And I do know that defense wins championships, but they're going to be averaging about 125 points per game. And there's no way they will lose to another team in the playoffs, if healthy. But of course, that goes to every team in the NBA. So that brings me to the end of the video. Let me know down in the comment section if I ranked a team too high or too low, or if another team is going to make it to the NBA's finals. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed what I said. Till next time.